I got one question for you. What's more important with your investing? Protecting your capital and reducing your risk, or finding 100x gems? Now, if you answered the first answer, personally, I would agree with you. But of course, this comes down to investing and everyone has their own choices to make. But if you did go with the first one, this video is for you. We're going to look at protecting your capital when it comes to cryptocurrencies, especially against their Bitcoin value. So if you've ever wondered what it means to compare a cryptocurrency against its Bitcoin value or its Ethereum value, this is going to be your video. But if you're only concerned about if money dollar go up, then this might get a little bit confusing for you, but stick with it. I'll do my best with my experience in the cryptocurrency markets over the last 5 years to explain it nice and simply. So let's start by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, bell notification. First thing I have here, Bitcoin dominance. Mainly, I'm looking at this just to see whether Bitcoin is strong. Essentially, we don't want these cryptocurrencies to steal our Bitcoin. It's a big lesson I learned through 2017. You can be holding a ton of altcoins or investing in these altcoins as they continue to fall. But if you take a look at the charts and just see where some of the support and resistance levels are, maybe these cryptos will never come back to break their all-time highs of their Bitcoin or their Ethereum value. Their dollar value, different story. But if we want to protect our capital and reduce our risk, then by reducing our risk, we need to get out of the higher risk cryptocurrencies, move our capital into something that is lower risk. Ethereum, Bitcoin, potentially, of course. As with everything on the channel, not financial advice. This is just looking at some charts and looking at some levels based on the history here on the charts. And of course, my own experience in the markets, looking back on how I could have improved my own portfolio. So the dominance is the main thing here. Is BTC.D. I'm only using this now as a bit of a guide to see when Bitcoin might be in a stronger move compared to cryptocurrencies. So just looking back at 2021, Bitcoin had that move in late 2020 into early 2021, and it basically took a lot of the market share. Cryptos dropped. Then the cryptos came and had their alt season, and that dumped Bitcoin and all of its dominance. So people were making more Bitcoin from their altcoins. Then we had the crash in May, and this is showing up on the dominance because the money flew back into Bitcoin. You can see it jumped here. So Bitcoin jumped up into July, and this was the period where Bitcoin was going sideways and altcoins were losing. Then we had another little run here into September where Bitcoin also went up and the altcoins went up. Bitcoin took the power back into November, just passed, and altcoins were also trying to play a little catch-up game here as we moved down. So altcoins also had a pump. This is generally speaking. You're going to have some alts which are going to pump, some which are going to stay flat. Then we saw the rest of the market crash, and the money has just been flowing back into Bitcoin recently over the last couple of weeks. So this isn't to say that we have to always shove all of our money into Bitcoin, but it's just giving us a bit of a guide as to what is generally going on in the market. Are people getting out of cryptos even if the market is down and just going to something more safe, or are they being more speculative and throwing the money into cryptos? So I'm going to look at 3 different periods in the market. We got January of 2014, January of 2018, and January of 2020. So looking back 4 years. Currently, we can see Bitcoin at the top, ETH, and then a lot of the names that we already know. But if we look back in history, going to January 28th, 2018, you might know a few of these names, and then a few of them just have not done anything during this last bull market. Think of Litecoin, basically hasn't done anything against its Bitcoin or Ethereum value. Neo, most people don't know what this is, but Neo was basically what Metaverse is in this previous bull run. Neo was the almighty crypto that went from a few cents to a couple of $100. So that is the level of market sentiment that Neo had. Same sort of thing for EOS and IOTA, but now you just don't hear of these things. And go back another 4 years, Litecoin was at the top, XRP was up here, and then the rest of them, you pretty much have no idea what they were, except for the almighty Doge. So there's always going to be an outlier in all of this, but overall, you don't hear of any of these coins anymore. So the first crypto I want to pick on that is stealing our Bitcoin is XRP. And I say pick on because there are a lot of people that love this project. And in terms of a trade is a short-term window. You want to be buying somewhere in the lows and selling somewhere in the peaks. But in terms of investing, this is something, looking at this chart, is something that I would 100% stay away from. That's me, not financial advice. And I would stay away from it because it is higher risk than just investing in Bitcoin. Generally speaking, most new investors will come into the market when something is hot and the market is pumping. So XRP was pumping in early 2017 and it went all the way up into this huge peak against its Bitcoin value and then dumped 95%. So new investors and experienced people are possibly buying it into this peak here, never to see their returns regained against their Bitcoin value. So basically they could have just held Bitcoin from this price and they would be doing much, much better off after all of these years. Because if you're buying it at this higher price of 15,000 Satoshis and it's currently sitting at 1,600 Satoshis, then you've lost almost 90% of the Bitcoin that you invested into this cryptocurrency. So just think of it like a dollar. Think of this side, instead of it saying Bitcoin, think of it as the USD. So XRP USD. If this happened on the USD, you'd clearly understand that you've lost a lot of your money in the USD value. But we're looking at it against Bitcoin and we want to reduce our risk, but still exposing ourselves to the potential, no guarantees, of the upside in anything that we're investing in. So XRP has stolen our Bitcoin 3 major times and then plenty of other times throughout its entire trading history. XRP was released earlier, as we could see from the history of it. 2014, it was up here in the charts. But in terms of Bittrex, it was only trading here from about January or December of 2014. So this is what I have here, 95%. This is what the chart shows us. It was also down again, another 95%. You can see these little levels here, down 97% so far. And it's basically been sideways entire year of 2021 against its BTC value. So XRP has been a very terrible investment compared to something more safe like Bitcoin. Now let's pick on Litecoin. And we're doing this against the Ethereum value. So if we want to gain better exposure or potential to more exposure to the upside, which is why we look at Ethereum, then let's look at Ethereum against Litecoin. Litecoin was doing well in 2017, 18, and halfway through 2019 when the halving for Litecoin came in. All the news and the excitement just pumped up the price of Litecoin. And as you can see, market rose up for about 61 weeks. And now we've been down ever since. And so the percentage lost on an Ethereum value is 94%. You can do this against a Bitcoin value and it's basically been down its entire history as well. So in terms of an investment, Litecoin is terrible. It has been down for years and years and years against Bitcoin and against Ethereum. So if you want to reduce your risk, you wouldn't be in something like Litecoin, not telling you to buy it or to sell it. But in terms of the chart and what the chart is showing us, the return has been terrible, really, really bad. It's stolen 93% of your Ethereum from the top. Now to the outlier in all of this, and this is Dogecoin. Dogecoin, been around for many, many years, 2013, thereabouts, it's come out, and it's been a good trading coin. Now note I've got this on log, and it's been bouncing around these levels between about 20 Satoshis to about 100 Satoshis. So you can almost get in at anywhere between 30 and a little less. Wait it out, wait the months, weeks, or years until it pumps to around 100 Satoshis and get your return. Your 3 times, your 4 times, your 5 times your return on your Bitcoin value. And you can keep doing this over and over again. However, in comes Elon Musk in 2021 and we just absolutely bust through these tops. So the question then remains, or the question comes up, can we be wrong? And if we are wrong, how can we see that? So yes, we can be wrong. This might not be the best case because Dogecoin was on the way down and down and down and down, but then it pumps. So if we are wrong, we can see that from the breakout of all of these highs. You can see this first pump in around January or February. It definitely caught me by surprise, being able to pump well above these levels. Take it off log, you can see just how small this was and how massive the pump was. And it broke above all of these highs, came back, sat on the tops, and then went again. Now we're getting this bleed out. So the people who got in late, a lot of the new entrants, have lost a lot of Bitcoin value. So we go from the top, which was the Saturday night live screening of Elon Musk doing a Doge skit. It is now down about 70%. So of course, there's going to be a lot of people buying and selling at that point in time. It's on primetime TV. They've all lost about 70% of their Bitcoin value from the top. So they've lost it. It's been stolen from them, whatever you want to call it. This is something to always pay attention to because you're exposing yourself to more risk, but you don't need to when you have cryptocurrencies which are less risk, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So is this just a phenomena that has happened in previous cycles, and will it happen again? I tend to think so, and which is why I protect my capital and I look to reduce my risk. I think these projects will be good. I have nothing against them personally. Take all my emotions away from it. If this is one of your projects, chill out. Just look at your charts and take the emotions away from it. SAND is one of these, SAND. Now, if I'm looking at this chart with nothing on it, that to me looks awfully scary and familiar to something like that, which is pumped and potentially has this coming for it. So SAND on the way up on the big pump, you can just see how many times it has pumped on the way up to the highs. Could it come all the way down? Sure. And these yellow lines are areas that I would expect some sort of support with some bounces. Doesn't go down in a straight line. And this can take weeks to months. Just look at Doge. You have to appreciate the amount of time in this. This last pump in May of 2017, we didn't see it break that high until February of 2021. So you had about 4 years in between these tops. And then this grind lower and lower and lower just took a couple of years. There were pumps in between, but the full grind happened over about 2 years. So SAND, I'm not saying it could take 2 years. Maybe it does. We don't know. But we would see some sort of reaction off these lines. And this will be the same for any of the other cryptos that I bring up in just a sec. It's not going to go down in a straight line. It will probably find support. It will bounce back and you think, damn, I was wrong. But just look at major support and resistance levels. You know, we've come off this level and it looks like we're about to hit that as resistance. You can see the bounce here at about 10,000 Satoshis. And potentially over the next few weeks, we fake above, come back under and start to grind our way down, break the major 50% level and look towards some of these lower prices. Let's look at Sol. You can see the 50% level coming up here. Potentially over the coming days or weeks, maybe we'll see a breakdown. Maybe we don't. Maybe we see a little bounce and then it fade out again. But if history is anything to go by, which is generally how I trade, you might not, I would be expecting some of this stuff to start breaking down and find some support a little lower down. ADA, another big one from this year. I'm bringing up a lot of the big ones that happened in 2021 because we tend to think that this can't happen to us or it can't happen again. And we're starting to see it on ADA, unfortunately. But it's not to say that I wouldn't be buying some of these lows and waiting for it to pump again. The main thing with all of these is I wouldn't want to see the major levels break down. And for ADA, it's at around 400 to about 800 Satoshis. Sounds absolutely ridiculous from the current price, I know, but you wouldn't have said from when we were at 6,000 Satoshis that we would halve and go further than 3,000 Satoshis back then. So anything is possible in this game, especially when it comes to the Bitcoin valuation, because Bitcoin should go up if we're going to go into a new bull market, and the rest of cryptocurrencies will go up as well. So if Bitcoin goes up, then this is going to put a lot of pressure on all of the Bitcoin charts. So pay particular attention to these. So I'm not going to leave you with all of the negativity on protecting a portfolio and protecting our income. That's essentially what we have to do as investors. That's one of our major jobs, is to protect what we have so you can live to fight another day. I've been in the game for 15 years and you have to keep protecting yourself. It's not all hopes and dreams. With that said, where will the best crypto opportunities come from in the next bull market? Of course, my thoughts on this are, the first one is cryptos that haven't been released yet. So I can't tell you which ones they are, but we'll be looking for something that hasn't been released so that doesn't have any history against its Bitcoin value. Basically is going to live on the hopes and the dreams of the amateur investors coming into the space thinking they can get rich quick. Two, similar to the first one, there's going to be cryptos that are released in a bear market because again, they haven't had their full exposure to the Bitcoin valuation. So again, as the bull market rolls around again, then the amateur investors are going to be living on the hopes and the dreams that this cryptocurrency can go to the moon and make them rich and get out of their jobs that they dislike. That is what all of this stuff lives on, people's gambling addictions. And three, cryptos that may have been out but are in a long-term accumulation against their Bitcoin value. So you want to look for stuff that is in a sideways range and looking to break out of those highs, stuff that we talk about on the channel a lot. So if you're interested in that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel and the bell notification icon so you can be updated with more information on these cryptocurrencies. Now, in terms of these cryptocurrencies, they can also be wrong because they've been out for so long. If Bitcoin goes up, then they can also fall. So you want to be looking for that major support level. If they start to break down against their Bitcoin value, it's likely that they will go further, although their dollar value might continue up with Bitcoin if it goes up as well. And of course, we assume Bitcoin is also going to go up as it's still in a major macro bull market. Hope you enjoyed that, found a ton of value. You know what to do if you did find some value from it. I'll see you at the next video. Until then, have more fun to get more done.